Hello and welcome to a live broadcast from Straight News TV. Today, Louis van Gaal been appointed to Manchester United manager. Ryan Giggs has retired from football, so there's plenty to discuss. I'm talking to Ian at Old Trafford and Busby Way. Ian, our Serge is in Israel. So, first for starters, Ian, what's it like in Manchester today?
Oh, as you can see, Dale, it's absolutely bright sunshine here in Manchester. It's absolutely exceptional. It's about 20 odd degrees. It's nice and sunny, and it's really rounding up the nice news that United have come out with today. We've finally got that expected announcement, Van Gaal's appointment. So yeah, it's all good. The gloom's nowhere near from Moyes' era.
So Serge has left Manchester to go on holiday. When he leaves, it's sunny in Manchester. What's it like in Israel, Serge?
Well, it's 30 degrees. It's boiling hot here. Not a cloud in the sky. And lots of sunbathing. And just waiting for the Van Gaal announcement. You know, it's not been too bad and all, to be honest.
Yeah, so plenty of sunshine. It's actually raining here, so you might be a bit misjudged from the title of this video, because we're supposed to be talking to Van Gaal. We're too interested in the weather forecast. Ian, is there any people on the forecourt today? Is there much excitement around Busby Way or around Manchester?
No, it's the general traffic that you get with United that goes up and down, so not Busby Way on a general day. And without running around and trying to grab people and losing my internet connection, then we're not entirely sure on how many people actually know these things break, and we're all connected to the internet nowadays. But you know, some people actually around the megastore may not even have a clue as yet. It could be quite interesting.
It's very true. Serge, we've been waiting quite a while for this announcement, and today it came, well, finally, I guess. Have you been a bit impatient waiting, because it's been the worst kept secret in football?
Yeah, I suppose we have. I think the United fans just got a bit frustrated. You know, when was it going to happen? It was just more of a matter of when rather than if. I don't think there was any other manager that was in the frame. I mean, I heard someone saying yesterday just by the pool that they thought United were holding out for Carlo Ancelotti after the final. But I could never see Ancelotti taking over, especially with the players he's got in Madrid. There was no way he was going to go and take the United job. But you know, Van Gaal, top manager, 62. Yeah, he's a bit old. Give him 3 years, then bring in Giggs. He brings some other of his staff with as well, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Could someone please tell me who his staff are?
I can get it right now. My pronunciations won't be too good.
I love your pronunciations.
You got a new goalkeeper specialist, not goalkeeping coach, but a specialist, Frank Hoek, and you got an opposition scout called Marcel Boat. As I said, those pronunciations could be terribly wrong, but I think listening to Lou McCarry today on BBC Radio, he spoke about Van Gaal the past few years, not necessarily focusing on Manchester United. So he might have all that experience, but he might not necessarily know just yet what United are about. It's the team he has at his helm. So having Ryan Giggs as assistant coach is a great
I
move.
just have a bit of breaking news on that. It's just been told Ryan Giggs has announced his retirement.
Yeah, Ryan Giggs is retired, which is a bit of sad news. They're all the years Giggs to get the club, but at least staying on as assistant coach, and I reckon that's one of the things he was holding off for. If he was to retire, he'd want to stay at the club with some capacity, I'm guessing. But Ian, looking at that and what Giggs brings to the club, are you relieved that he's staying on as assistant coach, or would you kind of said that look, he's too friendly with some of the players, and that might offer a bit of unease for the new manager? Or would Van Gaal be able to cope with that?
No, I think having Giggs as assistant manager works perfectly, because like you say, he knows the players inside out. He knows what's to be expected when Van Gaal comes in and makes the changes. And I think it actually takes some pressure off. If you'd left Giggs in charge there and he had to make squad decision changes with teammates that he's played with for so many years, would he have been able to make those decisions to his mates ultimately? And I think that this works perfectly in the fact that Van Gaal takes that pressure off him for that. And Giggsy knows the club inside out. Perfect situation.
No, absolutely, and looking at the news today, the journalists at ManUnited.com are wicked busy. You've got all the quotes from the board members, you've got the appointment of Van Gaal, and as Serge just touched on, the Ryan Giggs retiring. So it's going to be a long day. I think going to be lots of statements made, and I think that Giggs coming on as assistant coach is a statement of intent. Manchester United with Van Gaal going to attract some big names this summer. We're going to talk about that. Ryan Giggs, you can attract big names again. Everyone wants to play for Manchester United. Everyone has. If you have a chance to play on the Ryan Giggs and Louis van Gaal, how can you say no to that? That's a massive pull factor. Whereas people have argued last year having David Moyes as manager, in comparison to other big clubs, it was a bit of a push factor, which is hard to disagree with, seeing the players we lost out on. Now this summer we can see what difference that makes. Even though we haven't got Champions League football, this is Manchester United. It's the biggest club in the world. The biggest clubs want to play for Manchester United, and under the best of managers, that's what we have right now. Serge, do you agree?
Yeah, I agree. I think we've got one of the most experienced managers in the game, world-class manager, plays attacking football, what we want to see, exciting, in the face, offensive football. None of this, we'll try and stop him business. We're going to go out from the off and we're going to try and beat teams like the Old Trafford, like Man United way. No messing around. Yeah.
We've been joined by Johnny with his theme song, Happy. So I think, Johnny, you're happy?
Yeah, very good news, eh? We all knew it. We all knew anyway, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Initial reaction?
No, delighted it's been announced. But yeah, like you said before, Dale, worst kept secret in football. It was inevitable. I can't understand why people on Twitter were getting wound up. I think it was probably done and dusted a couple of weeks ago.
Quite possibly. I think there was just a few minor negotiations between the Dutch FA and the timing of the announcement. They didn't want distraction ahead of a World Cup. But yeah, I've heard also that Ryan Giggs is retired, which is a bit of sad news as a footballer. He's assistant manager now instead. What do you make of that news?
Yeah, very, very, very sad news. I suppose Giggsy is Manchester United, isn't he? It's part of the fabric of the club. I suppose that everyone's sort of eulogised Giggs and his playing career, so there's not really much you can add to it. But no, just an amazing servant to the club, and hopefully be with us in a managing capacity for many years to come.
Yeah, we'll see. We're going to touch on, we have already touched on Louis van Gaal being appointed, Ryan Giggs retiring, and now an assistant coach. We're going to look at some of the players they need to bring in, and maybe some of the players they need to take out. Louis van Gaal is a manager, lots of experience. He's never shied away from giving players the boot or taking a gamble with a young signing or introduce a young signing into the first team. So there's a lot to be excited with this new manager. Ian, starting off, you've 2 or 3 players. You can name 2 if you wish. The Louis van Gaal should be the first player they should be playing. Off you go.
I don't know. I think the possibility of Luke Shaw coming in is
No. First the players you want him to kick out, to get rid of. First.
No, kicking out. Cleverly. I can kick off with that one. Cleverly. He seems to play narrow systems, so I'm not too sure on how many wingers are going to be left out. But Young and Nani are probably going to be on that list as well.
Saying that, I know. We've spoke at length about Tom Cleverley, and it's a bit surprising that it's the first name that jumps to mind. I don't think he's the worst in the squad. I don't think he's the best, but I think there are players that spring to mind much before Tom Cleverley. Serge, do you agree, or are you Cleverley straight away out?
I'm Cleverley straight away out to start off with, and then I'm Smalling out, I'm Young out, and Nani out, and get rid of the Deadwood out, get rid of Smalling. Get rid of Smalling. He's not a Man United player. What? Cleverly. My pal to the right is going. Cleverly. Get rid. He's got to go. He's got to go. He just doesn't. He's not a Man United player. He's an Everton player. Let Martinez come and take him. We don't need him. We need Cruz.
Well, take Barkley out of Cleverly if he's going that way. Jonathan, first 2 players you want out of the club? Because I do think there will be some change this summer. Not just change of players coming in. I think there will be some players that will lose their shirt number.
Yeah. I think you'd have to say Cleverly and Young, I think, will be the first 2. out of the exit door. I don't know. That's just based on this year's form, I suppose. If maybe you never know, Van Gaal could rejuvenate a few of these players. Could come in, give them a lift, bit of confidence, and they could become viable squad players. So I suppose it's a hard question to answer at this point.
I hate this idea of squad players. I really hate this idea of squad players. Look at Manchester City. Look at Chelsea. They don't really have squad players. They're all champions. They're all winners. They've got a load of top players in the squad. They don't have the likes of Tom Cleverley or Cleverley-esque level of players.
City have some squad players. They got James Milner who wants to leave now.
Better Cleverley.
He is better than Cleverley, but he is a squad player essentially. He is a drop in standards from when Yaya Touré's injured, for example.
Like, it's very hard for a manager, for any manager. I don't care how good you are. It's very hard to keep 11 players happy. Never mind the 16 or so on. A club like Manchester United have way more players. I think it's very important. Sorry, I might be muted. If we being a very good midfielder, it's hard to keep them all satisfied. Because you're going to need players to stand in when someone gets injured, and if you don't have that level of consistency, you won't win the league. I think this season City have had some standing players, and you need that, and that's what they're going to be looking to bring in again this summer. I think it's not just players that are going to slot into the first team for City. It's players that are going to stand in when the likes of Yaya, Fernandinho, and especially Kun Aguero is out. Because when Kun Aguero is out, they should have had the quality up the top to deal with it. And a lot of their fans were worried this season when Zeko or Negredo went on a dry spell. So you do need those players to stand in. I think Johnny makes a great point on Louis van Gaal coming in and giving some of these players a kick that they need, a bit of a confidence boost. And I do think Cleverley is one of those players that could get that boost and prove a lot of people wrong. I'm hoping. I'm not saying he will. I'm hoping because you want to see that with a young player. One of my first players that I want out is Ashley Young. I don't think he's Manchester United standard. He frustrates. He has this thing about him that when he starts a game, he might give an excellent 10 minutes, and it's a reoccurring pattern with Ashley Young, and he gets people's hopes up, and then he just fades. And that's as if he's happy with his first 10 minutes. My job is done here, and Manchester United, that's not acceptable. And I don't think a manager like Louis van Gaal will stand for that either. I think Louis van Gaal will call a spade a spade. Just moving on, we start with the players we wanted out. I think we've all pretty much said Ashley Young. A lot of us said Cleverley, except for me. Ian, 2 players in?
Shaw looks like he's set to come in, so that replaces Evra, who I'm still a bit unsure of what's going to happen with Evra next season. Can't fully understand if he's going to continue on or. So I don't know. And the other one, I think Cruz it'd be 10 times better than having Cleverley. Cruz would be good, but I also like to see Wilson get a chance. He was talking about Van Gaal bringing in the youth and using the youth team as a good setup. Wilson, I didn't realise how many goals he'd scored this season and at how many levels, because he started out at the start of the season in the under-18s and scored at every level. So that's spectacular for the young kid, and he definitely should be around the first team next season.
Sarge, 2 players. You can push it for 3 if you wish.
2 players I'd like to come in would be 2 players I'd like to see come in would be firstly Luke Shaw to shore up the back 4 to take over from Evra, and then keep Evra as an experienced left back, bring him in for maybe Carling Cup games and FA Cup games or whatever. And who else would I like to see come in? Tony Cruz, centre mid. Be delighted if Tony came in. I'm going to mention one more, and I might get a bit slated for this, but I like Arjen Robben. I think he's a game changer. Still got years in him, and I think he's got that kind of swag that that United have inbuilt within their what's it called? Within their, Johnny, give me the word. Within their what?
DNA.
DNA. Yeah. Thank you. DNA. Okay, I get it. DNA. Yeah, inbuilt within their DNA. So I think Arjen Robben would be an also top signing. So Cruz, Robben, and Shaw. Thank you very much.
Johnny?
Yeah, I'd be happy with all of those players. To be fair, to add to that list, potentially could say someone like Vidal would be nice on the back of what our pal Fabrizio told us as well about him. Top player from Juventus, bit of an all-encompassing midfielder. And then, of course, was it Benassia, the centre back from Roma?
Mm.
That's another viable possibility. Yeah, I mean, pick any of these top class players, it'd be great. The more the merrier. The more the merrier.
I think the first player that I think United are really pushing to get the deal done before the World Cup is Luke Shaw. And I think we can all agree on the quality he brings. And he's only 18. I watched him this season, and he has some abilities that usually more mature players get a grasp of. But he's only 18, and he's showing this level of potential already, and it's fascinating. And that's where the price tag comes from too. 30 million people are saying it's crazy money. It is. But a lot of footballers are going for crazy money now, and the fact he is 18, you paid 30 million for him. God forbid he stays for the 10 years. He's 28. He's given us great service, and that 30 million will look like a bargain. Do you know, if you get 10 service out of a young player, that potential, what can he become? So I'm saying get Luke Shaw. Definitely, Luke Shaw looks a real exciting talent. The second player I'm going to go for, you've all got Tony Cruz. I agree, but if that doesn't work, I'd love to see Fabregas again. He's for sale this season for Barcelona. We tried last season with some petty bids. And I think if we give Barcelona the offer they want, maybe 40 million, 45 million, I say take him. As the lads have touched on, he's better than Sam Cleverley. There's no competition there. So yeah, I'd love the likes of Tony Cruz or either Fabregas, one or two, and I'd be very, very happy. A good shout was Sergio Robin. He's not our ideal or not most liked person when he's at Chelsea, or even as his career went on, he's a bit of a I can't say it live, but yeah,
a diver.
He's quality. He is quality, and I think the one thing about United last season, we need that bit of pace going forward, and especially on the left. We've seen Shinji Kagawa on the left, and as he is brilliant, he doesn't offer that real wit and pace that you need out of a winger at United, and that's something Rob could bring. So I think Manchester United this season, it's going to be a lot of excitement. There's going to be a lot of change. There's change in the staff already. Big exciting summer. Have any predictions, lads, for the World Cup, even with Van Gaal? Because if he's longer at the World Cup, we might not see him for the pre-season.
Was there any other announcements with regards to like the personnel that he's bringing with him? Obviously, Giggs is the manager, but
before you joined us, Johnny, my pronunciation is not the best for these two names. There's a goalkeeping specialist called...
Didn't you once call Juan Mata, Joan Mata, or John Mata?
John.
Terrible.
Yeah, the goalkeeping specialist, Frank Hoek, and opposition scout, Marcel Boat. I don't know where national... I'm guessing they're Dutch maybe because they're coming in so fast with Van Gaal. I could be easily wrong. But that surely leaves out Chris Woods, who had impressed Manchester United this season.
I'm going to be very supportive of Chris Woods and everything, and yeah. I'll give him that, fine. But in my own personal opinion, I think it's a fine balance between De Gea's natural progression as a goalkeeper, in terms of his growing age, obviously, and obviously Chris Woods is very good training that he did with him this year. But I'm going to I'm going to say he was a good goalkeeping coach, but let's see what Van Gaal can do. Hopefully De Gea can get even better than he was this year.
Yeah, I definitely...
And let's see if Van der Sar can come in. Maybe Van der Sar will come in.
Definitely agree. Personal development's a major factor. Because remember, last season when Fergie left, there was a lot of people giving out about Eric Steele leaving. And I think the one thing that did upset me with Eric Steele leaving was his effort of learning the Spanish language so he could communicate better with De Gea. And that was not only a nice touch, but I'm sure that De Gea liked that and helped him progress. But I was just so surprised this season. Regardless of the change of Chris Woods, he's just developed again. And you got to think with a player that potential, he's just going to continue developing. He's going to be the best goalkeeper in the world one day. There's no question about that. Like, he came into United, distribution was excellent. There was a few things he needed to work on, and he's just working that so quick. And he's just once he makes a mistake, his head never drops. It's put up even higher, and he's going to charge those mountains and fix those errors and just keep improving. Ian, talking about staff, the likes of the class '92, you're talking, Finn Level or not Finn Level, but Scholesy. Do you want them to stay on some capacity? Do you think they will, or do you think it's going to start narrowing down now that the names are being listed and there's no shout at them yet?
I think I'd like to see Scholes stay. I know he's sort of brought in by Giggs to sort of help 4 games that he was in charge, but I think it's quite key and vital that we do keep those class of '92, especially if Giggs wants to use them when he comes down in a couple of, in a few years' time, and he potentially takes over as manager. Then to have those in and around the club is going to be vital experience at that point. And then they're all still learning, they're all still doing coaching badges and such like. So yeah, I'd like to see. I'm not too sure on that, but obviously Nicky Butt can go back to his role in the youth ranks and progress his talents that way. So I think we've got to keep those round. But the couple of additions that we've now got of Van Gaal's experienced staff, like we say, goalkeeping specialist, he's referred to rather than goalkeeping coach, opposition analysis. He's bringing in a lot more experience with him for the 3 years that he's got on his contract. So I'd really love to see Scholes and everyone else come in just after them, after they've learned off.
I have been informed by someone on Twitter, Ali Bab77, that Frank Hoek was Edwin van der Sar's goalkeeping coach at Ajax and Victor Valdez at Barcelona. So this is a coach that Louis van Gaal obviously trusts very much. He's brought him from Ajax to Barcelona and now to Manchester United. So I think
was he previously in a job, or was he a free agent?
I've got no word on that. All I know is Van Gaal had worked with him at Ajax when he was coaching Edwin van der Sar, and then at Barcelona when Victor Valdez was much younger, he trained him also. So when you hear the names like that, it's very promising. We know a lot about Edwin van der Sar and the quality he brings to the table. So as Ian has touched on, he's only going to be in the job, a contract for 3 years, but he's bringing a lot with him, a lot of experience, and a lot of names that are to be reckoned with, rather than Steve Round or Jimmy Lumsden.
Well, that new coach, one of the coaches looks like I saw a tweet. It said looked like a suave Jimmy Lumsden. One of them had white hair, similar to Jimmy Lumsden.
Maybe that's the guy David Moyes meant to bring with him. Johnny, what you make of the backroom staff coming in? That does excite you when you hear names like that being thrown around.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, fantastic. All names that will automatically command respect amongst all the United squad. Really, they're obviously respected in the football fraternity, and we've all touched upon it multiple times during the year. That was what. I suppose that was the gravitas that Moyes and his backroom staff, ultimately lacked. And like you say, all these guys with the names on the CV and the credentials, the players are going to warm to them straight away.
Just before we wrap up, this is the question I'm going to be asking again as the summer goes on and as we preview the upcoming season later on before it starts in August. Right now, with the announcement today, and a lot of people seem excited, which rightly so. What's Manchester United's aim for next season? Ian, is it back challenging for the title? Is it to win the title? Or is it just simply top 4? Get us back in top 4 and work on that in the second season?
No, I definitely think that United needs to be back challenging for a title next season. Bounce back, as Fergie's teams used to do from defeat, and bad season it has been this season. Yeah, we definitely need to be bouncing back and challenging for that title again. So that's and the United fans will be excited, and expectation levels may have risen again since today's announcement. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting season, and I'm sure the fixtures coming out in the middle of June will also give us an inclination about the tougher months and the easier months where United can pick up more points. And
we just need to make sure we don't get sunburned. So we need to move on.
Oh, that's good.
Ian, aim for next season. Ian's going for challenge. We must challenge next season.
Speaking to me, Dale.
Yeah, Serge. Yeah.
Oh, what did you say? What was the question? Sorry,
I said,
cut off.
your aim for next season, Manchester United. Should we just be happy with top 4? Should we be challenging, or should we be all out? We need to win the league.
Well, we need to be winning the league next year. That's what we need to do. We need to be winning the league. Parades aren't for the likes of Arsenal or Manchester City. Parades are for the likes of champions like Man United. You know, we don't mess around. So we need to be challenging for the league. I can see Johnny laughing. I'd love to know what Johnny's laughing at. I'd love to know.
Well, look, we've spent a year of messing.
No, because Hannah's in the other room, and I'm just sort of seeing if I can see her reaction to that comment.
Yeah, because City are a massive club. They got the biggest floodlights in the football league. If anyone doesn't know, Hannah is Jonathan's missus, and she's a big City fan. He manages to live with a big City fan. Yeah, I know. I also think the same. Fortunate.
They have actually got. I mean, obviously in the 90s there was the joke about them having the tallest floodlights. I think they have officially got the most expensive website in the Premier League now. Just to let you know. Interesting statistic. I know that.
Yeah, the PR is very good. But on that note, I am personally going to love you and leave you. It's been great to come on, guys. Great to go from the sunny shores of Herzliya Beach in Israel. So a pleasure, and I'll see you all when I get back tomorrow. So I'm sure.
Say hello to Ronnie Rosenthal for me.
I'll say hello to Ronnie Rosenthal for sure. Just a scouting. And Niall Berkovic, yeah. All the best. See you guys.
John, your aim for next season?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm going to agree with these guys in the sense that the appointment today is obviously a massive boost, but we're all saying, weren't we, before the appointment was officially made, that the key is paramount for us to get back in the top 4, which it is true, but when you look at someone like Van Gaal, you just don't think it's in his makeup to settle for a top 4 finish, do you? You know, for Van Gaal, he probably viewed 4th place as failure. So that, I think, just implicitly, I think we'll be trying to challenge, or at least giving the impression that we're challenging for the title. We're not just going to be trying to get back into the top 4, but I think if we get into the top 4, we'll be happy. It'll be a move, progression.
I think if that's the mentality that our aim is to get in top 4, that's the wrong mentality. Manchester United's aim should be to win, and if we do finish within the top 4 next season, not ideal, but we'll all see it as a step forward after such a dreadful season, and it'll be something to build on. But Manchester United, the mentality has to be, we're going out next season to win the league. That's the mentality, and to compete, to consistently compete, and to win the league. And if we win the league, there'll be even bigger celebrations, because it's not really expected next season. It's not really expected next season, but we're expected to compete at least and get in the top 4. I think the dogs downstairs are looking to get a word in, so we need to wrap it up quickly. Ian, thanks for joining us from the outside Old Trafford, sunny Manchester today.
Yeah, no, cheers for enjoying the sunshine for a bit. Although I am actually stood in the shade here, so.
That's sunburn, so.
I can't take the camera any further away from from being at a losing internet connection. Go on, Johnny, have you got something that you wanted to share with me?
I was going to say, I'm sure I just saw Luke Shaw walk past your shoulder there. He's on his way to fly.
Don't start those rumours, otherwise I'm going to start tweeting Manchester Airport and asking them if they've seen plane lands and all this sort of shenanigans.
Sesk.
I'm not too sure who he is, but
Sesk.
Yeah, but Sesk as well. They're all in it.
Walking in their droves towards Old Trafford now. Fine.
Right, so wrap it up. Thanks a million for watching, lads. Make sure you subscribe to Striking News TV, like and comment. Come on, you Reds.